Hello, my name is Erin Wright, and today is day 84 of the Richmond Public Library's 100 Days RVA Reads program promoting PBS and WCVE's The Great American Read. Today I'm at Little House Green Grocery at 1227 Bellevue Avenue. Little House is a neighborhood green grocery that I run with a bunch of great folks. We try to bring consciousness into all our choices, from what we sell to how we treat our food waste. So this is one reason I've chosen to read Hermann Hesse's Siddartha. Siddartha is a story of a man's life, really. A man who was searching for meaning and his connection to this meaning. I know very little about the Dharma of the Buddha, but the teachings have been very comforting and eye-opening to me. I sympathize with Siddartha's search for understanding of what the Buddhists call 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows of the human incarnation. And I hope that one day I can obtain close to the peace of Siddartha that he finds at the end of the book. I'm going to read a passage from the final pages to share his understanding of that piece where Siddartha is sharing what he learned throughout his life with his best friend Govinda. Siddartha said, "Yes, I've had thoughts and knowledge here and there. Sometimes for an hour or a day, I've become aware of knowledge just as one feels life in one's heart. I've had many thoughts, but it would be difficult for me to tell you about them. This is one thought that has impressed me, Govinda. Wisdom is not communicable. The wisdom in which a wise man tries to communicate always sounds foolish." "Are you jesting?" asked Govinda. "No, I'm telling you what I've discovered. Knowledge can be communicated, but not wisdom. One can find it, live it, be fortified by it, do wonders through it, but one cannot communicate and teach it. I suspected that when I was still a youth, and this is what drove me away from the teachers. There's one thought that I've had, Govinda, which you will again think is a jest or folly. That is, in every truth, the opposite is equally true. For example, a truth can only be expressed in enveloped words if it's one-sided. Everything that is thought and expressed in words is one-sided, only half the truth. It all lacks totality, completeness, unity. When the illustrious Buddha taught about the world, he had to divide it into samsara and nirvana, into illusion and truth, into suffering and salvation. One cannot do otherwise. There is no other method for those who teach. But the world itself, being in and around us, is never one-sided. Never is a man or a deed wholly samsara or wholly nirvana. Never is a man wholly a saint or a sinner. This only seems so because we suffer the illusion that time is something real. Time is not real, Govinda. I've realized this repeatedly. And if time is not real, then the dividing line that seems to lie between this world and eternity, between suffering and bliss, between good and evil, is also an illusion." "How is that?" asked Govinda, puzzled. "Listen, my friend, I'm a sinner and you're a sinner, but someday the sinner will be Brahma again. Someday obtain nirvana, will someday become a Buddha. Now this someday is an illusion. It's only a comparison. The sinner is not on the way to Buddha-like state. He's not evolving, although our thinking cannot conceive things otherwise. No, the potential Buddha already exists in the sinner. His future is already there. The potential hidden Buddha must be recognized in him, in you, in everybody. The world, Govinda, is not imperfect or slowly evolving along a long path to perfection. No, it's perfect at every moment. Every sin carries grace within it. All small children are potential old men. All sucklings have death within them. All dying people, eternal life. It is not possible for one person to see how far another is on the way. The Buddha exists in the robber and the dice player. The robber exists in the Brahmin. During deep meditation, it's possible to dispel time, to see simultaneously all the past, present, and future, and then everything is good, everything is perfect, everything is Brahmin. Therefore, it seems to me that everything that exists is good, death as well as life, sin as well as holiness, wisdom as well as folly. Everything is necessary, Everything needs only my agreement, my assent, my loving understanding, and then all is well with me and nothing can harm me. I learned that through my body and soul it was necessary for me to sin, that I needed lust, that I had to strive for property and experience nausea and the depths of despair in order to learn not to resist them, in order to learn to love the world, and no longer compare it with some kind of desired imaginary world, some imaginary vision of perfection, but to leave it as it is, to love it and be glad to belong to it. These, Govinda, are some of the thoughts that are in my mind. Siddartha bent down, lifted a stone from the ground, and held it in his hand. This, he said, handling it, is a stone, and within a certain length of time it will perhaps be soil. From the soil it will become plant, animal, or man. Previously I should have said, this stone is just a stone. It has no value. It belongs to the world of Maya. But perhaps within the cycle of change it can also become man and spirit. It's also of importance. This is what I should have thought. But now I think this stone is a stone. It's also an animal, God and Buddha. I do not respect and love it because it was one thing and will become something else, but because it has already long been everything and always is everything. I love it because it's a stone, because today and now it appears to me as a stone. I see value and meaning in each one of its fine markings and cavities, in the yellow and the gray and the hardness and the sound of it when I knock it, in the dryness or dampness of its surface. There are stones that feel like oil or soap, those that look like leaves or sand, and each one is different and worships Om in its own way. Each one is Brahman. And at the same time, it's very much stone, oily or soapy. And if this is just what pleases me and seems wonderful and worthy of worship, but I'll say no more about it. Words do not express thoughts very well. They always become a little different immediately. They're so expressed, a little distorted, a little foolish, and yet it also pleases me and seems right that what is of value and wisdom to one man seems nonsense to another. So I think there's probably a dissertation in every single one of those sentences, and I think it is just so wonderfully helpful to remember to think of unity instead of divisiveness. I think you'll become happier that way. I think I will become happier that way. So in closing, I just want to say that all 100 books of the American Great Read are available at your local Richmond library. I got mine from McGinnis Park Library. To be a reader or find out what the next reading is, visit our rvalibrary.org/100 days. Clicking on the map and film icon on a day's listings will take you directly to our YouTube channel, film for that day. We also invite you to like our Facebook group and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Richmond Public Library 100 Days. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
The teachings of the Dharma that Siddartha kind of points to have helped me tremendously in thinking or being calm in the face of what used to really push me towards anxiety in owning a small business and putting, pressure on yourself to make things right for all of the customers, all of the staff, all of the vendors, and get our message of, what you do matters kind of out in the world. And I think it was I think any small business owner would be grateful to have some way of figuring out what is anxiety and what is projection and what is real and what are your expectations versus other people's expectations, and what's going to make you happy and feel good about putting your business out in the world and having it be a living, breathing thing without you in it. Regardless of what you think about it. Religion is helpful in that. was raised a Christian, and I love the idea of grace. I could listen all day to sermons about grace, but I didn't really know how to get there. And I think that the Dharma of the Buddha helps you actually come to a place of grace, or it helped me. And I can only hope to attain that. It's moment by moment, right?
I think grace is a perfect word for you.
Oh, that's
Great.
what an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.